You found a skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Matt with Maddie. I am here, as always, with Maddie, because if I weren't here with Maddie, it wouldn't be the same show. It would be a different show.
That's factual, in
Yes.
fact.
Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
Maddie in Matt with Maddie, actually. The show is
Yeah,
named...
you give me too much power.
I know. But I mean, none of my shows... Well, actually, no, one of my shows, Dapper Reacts, is named for me. But all my other shows are named for other people. And they are the key ingredient in those shows.
Can I tell you about this beer I'm having?
Yes.
Okay, I'm very excited about it because I forgot that I still had some of this liqueur that I brought back from France when we went back in April.
Okay.
So the liqueur is called Picon, Picon, and it is a bitter orange liqueur that you cannot get in the States. And the way you drink it in the I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, but it's like, is it the Alsace region of France? That's like
Alsace?
Alsace. Yes, thank you, Alsace region of France. That's like sometimes France, sometimes Germany.
Not Alsace. But yeah, Alsace-Lorraine is the part of France and Germany that switches sides every once in a while.
Yeah. Hey, turns out that's where my great grandparents are from. And we got to go visit there, and we took my dad, and he had a very special moment, and my toddler chased the cat around the church, and it was great.
Nice.
But so this is, you put like a shot of that liqueur into like a white beer, like a winter white beer. And by the way, Sam Adams right now has a winter white, and it tastes so similar to what we had in France, and it's so good. So this is also very alcoholic because there's a shot of liquor in here.
Nice. I've been to Sam Adams Brewery because I grew up in Massachusetts.
I've been to Sam Adams Brewery because me and the other seniors on my dorm that lived in my dorm, we all turned 21 and we're like, let's go tour all the breweries in Massachusetts or in at least the Boston area.
Nice. It's been a very long time since I did that. I think it might have been longer than actually, I'm very sure it was longer ago than when you did it.
I would have done it in 2012.
Yeah, I would have done it in the early 2000s.
Oh, geez, I forget you're older than me.
I am,
yeah. Okay, can I tell you what other really cool thing is coming up? Apart from Christmas with a very excited toddler.
Yes.
Whoa. That's gonna be insane. She's so excited already. I love my girl so much, and I have no self-control, and she's gonna have so many presents. Anyway, that's gonna be great. But after that, in January, I get to go to Dungeon Master University that's put on by the D&D in a Castle folks. And so one, I'm really excited to go learn how to be a better DM from the professionals. But I also am going by myself. Husband and kiddo are staying home. So I get 3 nights in a hotel with no responsibilities other than playing D&D.
Nice.
And that is my gift this Christmas.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
Nice. We have a few things to read here before we get into it. First, we have from Jillian Wren, who's been a member for 31 months and is at the Amniot level. Thank you very much, Jillian Wren. She says, to properly fight for glory for me and my house, we're going to order Glorio's cookie stamps next month. Anyone who wants them, talk to me with a Mothra, and we'll take a drink for that Mothra, so thank you very much. Actually, I already did take a drink for that Mothra. We're good on. I did, but Maddie didn't. Let's see. Then, Metageeky Platypus Librarian for $5 says, I just baked over 4 hours and made about 60 biscuits without my cat helping. Well, your cat needs to start helping more. My arms are as limp as the 2 worms that are AIG, even on Viagra, so we will take a drink for that. Ooh. Thank you very much.
I do have a question, though.
Okay, go for it.
Is it biscuits like British people mean biscuits, or is it biscuits like Southern American people mean biscuits?
I've seen pictures of them, and they are like Southern American people mean biscuit. Yeah, because Metageeky was kind enough to show pictures of her baking in the Discord, which is yet another reason why you should you watching should either join the Patreon or the memberships, because in addition to cat pictures, every once in a while there's food porn.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of adult content that you can look at work.
That's true. Yeah.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator has also gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. And remember, tonight we are trying to do a few things, but one of them is to get Ben some pizza, because I'm pretty sure Ben hasn't eaten in a little over a month. So by the way, I am drinking some gin and tonic.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was actually Ben's suggestion.
Nice choice.
Yeah, I said earlier today, I was like, I have no idea what I want to drink. And then he said
Dapper.
gin. And I was like, all right, yeah, sure, gin.
I had a Navy buddy who said that he only drank gin because he didn't want to become an alcoholic. So he refused to drink drinks that tasted good, right? He needed to know it was poisoning him.
That is... Okay, first of all, if you're drinking gin and it tastes bad, you need to either get better gin or get better mixers for your gin. Like,
that's true.
That's what's happening.
I think he probably doesn't like tonic water, right? Like, I'm not a big fan of gin and tonics because I don't like tonic water, but a gimlet, all day.
I do like myself a good gimlet. Although I have to be careful with them because they're very strong, but they're relatively smooth for a drink that's that strong. So like,
yeah.
I remember one time I was drinking gimlets, and then I stood up, and I was like, "Oh, is that what's happening?"
Oh no!
Oh my! Now that I have to actually rely on my balance, oof.
Can I show chat some of baby girl's Christmas presents that are within arm's reach?
Yeah, absolutely. While you're grabbing those, I'm also going to read out the super chat goal. So if we get 30 of the super chats, the teal ones, we are currently at 1. Before the show is over, I'll let Maddie nerd out. We won't have to talk about Matt. She can talk about nerd stuff. And
I'm going to talk about TTRPG stuff because I'm super stoked.
Yes. And on Saturday, I'll put my suit back on.
Ooh.
So I'll wear the suit again.
So here's our first one. I'm just her name's embroidered on it. I'm just blocking it out. But this is a little bag for ballet class, and it's so sparkly. That's gift number 1. And with that, I got her a T-shirt from like the Tulsa ballet company. Like we have a couple professional. Listen, people kind of shit on Oklahoma a lot, but my little state supports 2 professional ballet companies.
That's a lot.
Just saying, that's a lot, right? And then look, it's so pink.
It is very pink and very teal.
Yeah. Yeah, a little purple. Clearly not my vibe, right? I'm not like a girly girl, never have been. I don't know the last time I wore makeup to be on the internet on this live show, right? And like, my daughter is like, pink sparkles are the best.
Weird. I remember the last time I wore makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Saturday.
Over here. Oh, wow. I have a whole box of dress up clothes. I hit all of the like day after Halloween, everything's priced to go sales. And so we've got a huge dress up box for her too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of that's very sparkly and some of it's like, what if you were a firefighter or a scientist?
Hey, there is no reason that someone can't be both sparkly and a firefighter scientist.
That's so true. Right now, she says she wants to be a doctor ballerina when she grows up. Yeah.
All right. I mean, those are both things that take a lot of time and dedication, so good luck to her.
Yeah, but she already insists on being referred to as doctor.
I see. Well, I look forward to reading her dissertation.
Yeah. Oh, no, a medical doctor.
Oh, right. What do they do?
Because my sister, the pediatrician, right, asked her, like, do you want to be a doctor like Aunt Mimi or do you want to be a doctor like Mommy? And Hannah, and then my girl was like, a doctor like Aunt Mimi.
Okay. Hey, you know what? That's fine. Let's see. Liz D, who's been a member for 18 months and is at the amniote level, says, Dapper, who would win in a fight between Ray Comfort riding a Herrerasaurus and Kent Hovind riding a Kodiak Bear, and AIG or a bag of Kent Hovins? I think I'm going to give it to the Kodiak. Brachiosaurus, not that big, not as stocky and like muscled as a Kodiak, most likely. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it to the Kodiak. And the people riding it are like completely incidental to this. They have absolutely no option to help or hinder their mounts in any way. Yeah. Let's see. Also, for $2, Pillowpunk says you should introduce that Navy buddy to Malort.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll help tell him that he's poisoning himself.
That will. Also, I need you guys to know that I'm checking my email really obsessively because I'm waiting for the link to sign up for seminars and office hours at Dungeon Master University to drop.
Nice.
Yeah, it feels like the best version of like signing up for classes in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that only fun for me? I don't know if that's a universally fun experience.
It depended on how I was doing that day and which semester it was and what I was missing and whatnot. But overall,
yeah.
I generally enjoyed looking through the course like offerings to see what I wanted to take that.
Yeah.
But that was within my like requirements.
Yeah, I had my whole color-coded schedule ready to go.
Nice. Actually,
that mapped out my whole degree.
My advisor said, "All right, you can't take any more history courses anymore. You're not allowed to, because if you do, you won't get all your electives done, and you'll have to have an extra semester worth of classes." And I was like,
no!
What if? And he was like, nope.
No.
It has to be a different department. It has to be. You've done most of your actual like required specific electives. You now just need some non-history credits. Doesn't matter super what they are. They just can't be history. It's just various general education nonsense. I'm like, okay, I'll take crime in fiction, which was just a class where we read and analyzed mystery thrillers.
That's fun.
Yeah, so we read some like Agatha Christie and whatnot. And, okay, cool.
Oh, that's super fun.
Yeah, it was a
so.
good time.
MIT has a really cool. Of course, MIT doesn't do anything like any other university, right? Because why would they?
Right.
So, their gen eds are general institute requirements, right? And so those are single and multivariable calculus, physics, like mechanics and kinematics, physics, electricity and magnetism, chemistry, biology. So those are your like science cores. You then must also take 2 science electives that are considered kind of like fundamental and shouldn't be in your major. So I got away with some nonsense because I double majored. And so those rest electives, like I took physics 3, waves and vibrations, and then one of my Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Sciences classes like counted because I was a double major. And then you also have to take 8 humanities, arts, or social science classes, and 2 of them must be communication intensive. In lieu of like Comp 1. Okay. You know, MIT doesn't have a Comp 1. But anyway.
Let's see.
So I got to take a fun humanities class or arts class. Like I took one every semester as my like brain use the other half of my brain class, and it was great.
Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, I know a certain Patriot Bible trailer that does doctorates on the cheap. Yes, I am aware of that one.
It's true.
You know, we came close to having Shesh try to get a doctorate degree from Patriot Bible University.
She should.
Like, well, so the thing is, it's cheap for a doctorate, but it's not cheap for like a trip to the grocery store.
Gotcha.
And the other thing is, like, there were actual requirements, but they were all weird, but also we weren't sure how to like do them without it just being like broad. Because one of them was like, oh, you got to get your recommendation from like your pastor, and it's like, well, what if you don't have a pastor?
Ooh, hey, I am in the process of being ordained so that I can perform my sister's wedding.
Ooh.
So what if I was Chesh's pastor?
Well, then I'm gonna have to try to figure out your Episcopal lineage. So you know, which apostle does that stretch?
I'm not ordained as an Episcopalian. I'm gonna get like Church of Nome or something like that.
That doesn't even have any apostolic succession. That doesn't count.
It doesn't count. You get a hat.
Apostolic Succession, or GTFO.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going through like I'm not getting another graduate degree just to perform my sister's wedding on a beach, right?
All right, that seems fair.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple more things. So one is, if we want, we could feed Bent. Bent could use another feeding. It's been at least a month. He's like a snake like that. So that'll happen at about 90%. I don't know exactly where the 90% because the counter rounds off to whole numbers. So there you go. So that is one thing that we could do. Another one is I do have a link to Vishanti's wish list over on Amazon. Vishanti has recently had some bills increase. I'll put it that way. And while she's working to decrease them again, it's not clear when that's going to happen or how it's going to happen. As a result, she has just some basic stuff on her wish list that if people got her would just kind of help out. So there's stuff like creamer for coffee. There's like storage items for kitchen, cleaning products, and stuff like that. So it also is, in fact, Hanukkah, and Vishanti is Jewish. So if you wanted to give Vishanti a little Hanukkah gift, that wish list is there. And like I said, I would recommend, because this is what she mostly needs, is things like practical items, right? Like there's some storage stuff in there, cleaning, kitchen supplies, stuff like that. Of course, that being said, I know that she would love any of the other items on there, but that is my recommendation. If you want to send just a quick little Hanukkah gift, it would be appreciated. I think some things that are on there are like only a few dollars. I got her, I think, like a bottle of shampoo the other day, and it was like $6. So like, every little bit adds up. Let's see, Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5. Or no, that was already read. I already read that. Naram puts for $5 says, we need to set up a sham university and give Dapper a linguistics degree. Oh, then I still wouldn't be a linguist because that's not how it works. But yes, you should. You definitely should. Other than that, I think we can have Maddie. Would you care to do the honors and tell people about the drinking rules? Because we got drinking rules now. Make sure that if you drink with us, that you don't go overboard. Pace yourself. Know your limits. Don't drink and then go out and, drive a car, operate heavy machinery, fly an aircraft, or text your ex. All bad ideas.
Okay. All right, here we go, team. Number 1, we're going to drink anytime Matt says something that's so stupid, we just have to. Mm-hmm. Number 2, we're going to drink anytime Matt says something that is technically correct, but it has to be real information that came out of his own brain and not quoting or reading something. 3, we're going to take a drink anytime Matt makes what we like to call the Trojan source fallacy. That's not right. That's not a fallacy. That's just what we call this rule. Trojan source is he cites a source, and not only does that source not support his claim, it directly refutes it. Number 4, we're going to take a drink anytime Matt references a certain political party of Germany in the 1930s that rose to prominence and is unfortunately relevant today. Number 5, we're going to take a drink anytime... Oh, okay, yeah, anytime he mistakes Lucy for any of the larger taxa to which she belongs. So if it's something like, we can't know what Australopithecus's feet were like because we didn't find Lucy's feet. Haha, sir, Lucy's not the only specimen we have of that species or family or whatever have you. Okay.
Jokes.
Are those all the ones that... Oh, we also will take a drink anytime at Dapper or I can predict what he's going to say next when it's not super obvious, right? We just know the creationist talking points so well that we can predict it. 7. We'll take a drink anytime Mothra comes by audibly. We'll also take a drink anytime somebody either... Or Godzilla, excuse me. Mothra or Godzilla comes by audibly. We'll also take a drink anytime someone membership milestone chats or super chats, including the Mothra, Godzilla, or Gingadora emojis. We will also take a drink anytime. I think that was 9. We'll also take a drink anytime anyone sends a super chat or membership milestone chat with something along the lines of AIG is a bag of dicks, but you have to be a little creative. And my personal favorite, so the Matt with Maddie flavor for this one is I love it when it's alliteration. You make me so happy. You can have a virtual gold star if you can make it alliterative. Okay. We will take a drink for each gifted membership that is given. So earlier 5 were given and we took 5 drinks. However, if that number is really big, we're not gonna become unalived. We'll probably just finish our drink and go get another. Hey, remember that Dapper and I are playing with like sips of beer. Right? That's what we're playing with.
Not shots.
Not shots. No, don't do that. Please don't. Please know your limits and be safe.
We'd already be
Hey, Dapper, what have I forgotten?
You've forgotten jokes and stories.
Oh, we'll also take a drink anytime Matt either tells a joke that does not land or tells a story that didn't happen. Something that belongs on r/that didn't happen. Yeah.
And there's one more?
Oh, no. Okay. Is it a thing Matt triggers or is it a thing chat triggers?
No. An eye trigger.
Oh, we'll also take a drink anytime Dapper does something wrong with production. That's called Dapper's a professional. And though acts of God do not count, if there's a power outage or YouTube poops itself, that's not Dapper's fault. It has to be a mistake Dapper makes.
Yes. And Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, isn't Raw Matt just a semi-sentient joke that never landed? I mean, yeah, to a large degree, that is an accurate description of the man. Yeah. All right, so when last we left off, Raw Matt was confused by the idea of animals living near water, and also couldn't distinguish between fresh and saltwater animals, and so just decided that all of the aquatic organisms in a fossil bed just happened to be marine. His evidence for this seems to be that he said so. And then wondered what could cause a fossil site with all these 50 species, to which the answer is just, well, 50 species living in a river or wetland, which is what happened. That's it. That's the whole explanation. That's the horrible catastrophe that happened, is just there was a wetland environment that one time there. Yep, that's literally the entire explanation. That's the explanation science goes with. That's the explanation that has yet to be refuted. Yeah, it's literally just, well, there was a sort of a streamy, swampy place. And that's like, how could there have been bivalves and crocodilians and turtles and fish and dinosaurs and mammals? It's like, you're just describing the fauna of a late Cretaceous wetland, Matt. That's just what's happening. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, was it? Yeah, yesterday. I went on Mikey Smith's channel, and he was like, can you explain the half moon? Why is the line between the light and the dark side straight? And I'm just like, well, because it cycles between the light, and then he called me a liar after I, like, demonstrated how light works. And then
That's fun.
Kicked me off his stream.
Did you ask him to, like, okay, I need you to go get a ball and a flashlight, and I can show you?
I did mention that would work, and he just shook his head and called me a liar.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then he asked me where the hotspot was on the moon, and I tried to explain that you don't get specular reflections on things that aren't smooth, and the moon is definitely not very smooth compared to, like, the light falling on it.
Yeah. Wait, what does he mean, hotspot?
He means a specular reflection. Like, if you shined a light on a beach ball, there would be a little spot where the light reflects, not scattering, but just directly into your eye.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, buddy, cover your beach ball in sand and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't understand that surfaces have different degrees of, like, roughness versus specularity. And so, yeah. He apparently thinks everything should have a specular reflection like water, despite the fact that in his everyday life, he sees surfaces of different degrees of roughness, and they don't all have hot spots. And
that's true.
Yeah. And it's just like, you could make a ball that doesn't have a hot spot by just taking a ball and covering it in fabric. Like,
Yep.
just put your shirt around it, and then shine
That
light
is
on
not
it,
a hot
and there won't be a hot spot. But yeah, so that was a fun experience. There is a video coming out of that soon. I have downloaded that stream. I have cut out just the section that I'm in. I have made some commentary so that it can't be said to not be fair use. And hopefully that is going to be coming out as a little bonus episode of my streams. Josh McGee's for $5 says, Hagurim Sameach to Vishanti and all others who celebrate. Yes, indeed. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. It is, I believe, the third night of Hanukkah. I don't know for certain because I, in fact, am not Jewish. But I know people who are. I have family who are. So, there you go.
I know that it's Pink Candle Week in Advent.
There you go. That's my favorite of the Advent weeks with the candles.
Yeah.
All right. So let's hit play on this and we'll get going.
In a graded, sorted bed where big bones are found at the bottom and little bones are found on top.
So this is interesting because I've read the paper that described this formation, which is not the same one as the wetland I was describing. This is a bone bed of Edmontosaurus, and it was published on this description that he's relying on by a doctoral candidate called Summer Rose Weeks. And I'm going to be using feminine pronouns because Summer is a feminine name, and also Summer was attending Loma Linda University, a young Earth creationist Seventh-day Adventist university. And I don't think that they're big on like allowing people to be non-binary or to buck gender stereotypes over at Loma Linda. So I'm pretty sure that Summer, at least while she was there, was going by feminine pronouns. So the interesting thing here is that in this Summer Rose Week, okay, calling her Summer seems a little bit like familiar, and calling her like Miss Weeks or like I don't know what like title to use for her. Like I don't know if she ever got that doctorate degree. Like maybe she's Dr. Weeks. So I don't know what to call her. Right. So if anyone has a suggestion on what to call this person, given that I don't know what like title to use with the surname and using the first name seems inappropriately familiar, please let me know. I'm going to keep using Summer for now, but Summer, if you watch this, which you're almost certainly not going to, please understand that I'm not trying to do that as an insult to you. Anyway, what Summer found in this paper was in fact that this could not actually have been explained by a single event. In fact, this bed had to result from two different occurrences, one in which the Edmontosaurus individuals had already died, probably en masse, so maybe a flood, but it's not clear, and then laid out at the surface for at least weeks to months so that they had time to decay and be scavenged, because the bones also have scavenge marks and are disassociated with each other. And then a subsequent flood had to come in order to create the graded bedding of Edmontosaurus bones such that there are large bones at the bottom and small bones at the top, and that there is no association between the bones that cares about like anatomy. The problem is that doesn't match any flood model at all. So it is true that, assuming that I take Summer's word at face value about this formation, which I don't have any particular reason not to, it doesn't actually fit well into any flood model, despite the fact that it's actually a flood deposit. And notice that Matt here is harping on about the graded nature, because graded bedding is in fact characteristic of high energy deposition of sediment. But you know what isn't present ubiquitously through the alleged flood sediments? Graded bedding. So if this is an indication of a flood because of the graded bedding, then every time it's not graded, that's evidence of not a flood. So, Matt, like, either scientists know what flood bedding looks like or they don't, right? And you're saying they do, which means it also means they recognize when it's not. But this doesn't help you, Matt. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator, a better Matt, for $5 says, isn't wrong. Oh, no, wait, no, I already read that. What am I doing? Let's see.
I'm so quickly Facebook stalking her.
Summer Rose Weeks?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Summer, I did not ask Maddie to do this if you watch this.
I'm just trying to figure out if she's gotten her PhD or not.
Okay. And maybe if she's been married and I need to change the last name that I'm using.
Well, she still goes by Summer Rose Weeks on Insta.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Meth Navigator for $5 says, maybe we could ask an ordained Essene which day of Hanukkah it is. Oh, no. Yeah, in case anyone doesn't know, Matt, our narrator for this video, claims to be an ordained Essene, which is weird because, one, there weren't any Essenes after, like, the 2nd century CE, and also they didn't do ordinations. So, it's... I don't even know what to compare it. It's kind of like being an ordained, like, Sumerian. Like, that just doesn't... That can't be a thing. That's stupid. Can't be an ordained Assyrian. Sorry, Sumerian.
Not.
I guess you can't be an ordained Assyrian either, because that's also stupid.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a group that does ordinations. That's not how any of that works. ResearchGate says PhD student. All right, so I guess she's still a
ResearchGate says PhD student,
right.
but she finished her master's in 2016.
Maybe she's just taking a really long time.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go with Miss Weeks for now. Because I think that's probably...
This week's until ResearchGate is updated.
Yeah, that's... The latest information I have leads me to think that Miss Weeks would be appropriate. So, Miss Weeks, again, if you see this, feel free to, like, email me or leave a comment or something telling me the correct address, and I will at least pin a comment about it and update the description, because I don't want to be rude to you.
The only way to develop a graded bed like this is by a catastrophic process that
Hey, that's generally true. We'll take a drink for that one.
Hey, let's take a drink.
Of course, like I said,
no,
the problem then comes
let's be clear. A catastrophic process does not mean, therefore, global flood.
Right.
Right?
Yep. And it also means that we can distinguish between catastrophic and non-catastrophic deposition. And primarily what we find in the fossil record is non-catastrophic.
Yeah. And also, let me be super clear about something. It is not only that catastrophic does not necessarily mean global flood. It can be catastrophic and still preclude a global flood. Right?
Yeah, it could be a different kind of catastrophe.
Let me just be super clear about that. It's not, this isn't even necessarily, but it could be, right? Like
yeah, I can name at least one catastrophic type of rock that precludes it being a global flood, which is to say subaerial tuff, which is what happens when a big old volcano explodes, and what the sediment is actually volcanic ash, and it's subaerial, which means it's being deposited in the air.
Under the air?
Yeah.
Whoa.
As opposed to submarine tuff, which is also a thing, to be fair, but they're different. And yeah, so subaerial tuff cannot be deposited during a global flood. And yet, we got subaerial tuff out there. It's there.
Transports these bones and deposits them during a single event.
Right, but remember, Matt, that the paper you're basing this on, which I know you haven't read, so I get that you're getting all of these from, like, what is it? Is Genesis History, right? Because that's where these clips are from.
Yeah.
But yeah, the paper that's based on says that while the deposition of the bones is one event, it actually took 2 events to explain the whole thing. So when you rely on the one event nature of the deposition of the graded bedding, it tells me that either you're lying because you read that paper and know that it also requires a first event, or you just didn't look up the source for this. And then Joshua Geese just gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships, so let's take 5 more drinks.
Cheers.
Ooh. 3. 4. And 1 more. There we go. All right. By the way, if you are someone who has just recently been gifted a membership, or you've just recently joined either the Patreon or the memberships, the way to get into the Discord server is to go to Discord, go to settings, go to connections, add the account that gives you access to your connections, and then below that, there should be a list of servers that you're allowed access to. Mine should be on there. If you do all that and it's not, the first thing you should do is try to disconnect that connection and reconnect it. That works like 9 out of 10 times. If you do all those steps and it still doesn't work, feel free to message me. But if you message me asking for a join link, the answer is no. Do not give out the join link, because that has burned me in the past with people who have, say, long outstayed their actual eligibility to be in the server, and then sometimes have become problems in the server on top of that. So I have more than once had to kick someone out for not only not being eligible to be in the server, but also being a problem on the server. So, like, hey, don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Don't. It's not worth it. Alright. Well, it's not worth it for me. It might be for you. I don't know. Alright, here we go.
Listen, the ban button's really easy. I'm just saying. Like,
Actually, I didn't ban them. I just kicked them. If they want to pay me again,
I see.
and then they still become a problem, then they might get kicked.
Mm.
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Large flying creatures like pterodactyls were able to fly to escape the rifle.
Matt.
Can I give him credit that he didn't say large flying dinosaurs there?
Yeah, but then he said pterodactyls and not pterosaurs, and he didn't show a pterodactyl is. He showed some generic Ashdarkid. So let's
Okay,
give
never
him
mind.
half a point. How about half a point?
Half a point.
Okay.
You tried, sir.
Yeah, which, to be fair, is more than he usually does. So, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Rising floodwaters, delaying their demise until the later stages of the flood. The fossil record shows that they are buried.
But also, he puts up on screen the word pterosaur.
Pterosaur.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to reduce it to, like, a third of a point. You get a third of a point, Matt. But here's the thing, Matt. Why did the pterosaurs die out and the birds didn't? What was special about birds that let them fly above the waters? Or did they have to be on the ark? And also, if the birds survived on the ark and the pterosaurs were on the ark, what made the pterosaurs go extinct after the ark? Because I know the creationists like to talk about... Sorry.
They didn't, because in the Civil War, people shot them down.
I forgot, yeah. What was it? The Tombstone Herald from Tombstone, Arizona printed a story about Confederate soldiers shooting down a pterosaur.
Yeah.
My Unfinished Journey says, "Hail Dapper Dinosaur and Maddie, and hail pterosaurs." Hail, indeed.
Cheers. Hail!
Yeah. Here's the thing. Newspapers in the 19th century were mostly made up because they were there to sell copies, and there wasn't really any, like, well-established and enforced code of journalistic ethics or anything like that. And so they would just print pretty much whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. They would also actually print real news, right? Like, if there was an election coming up, you could probably find some stuff about who's in the election and what their platforms were in the newspaper. But they would also just print anything that they thought would sell copies. So, like, the distinction between, like, you know, like, actual newspapers and, like, you know, the Weekly Weird News, that didn't really super exist. So, like, the same company that would print out, like, election results would also print the Bat Boy stories.
That's amazing.
Yes. Goop23 says, "Can I get the other 2/3 of a point for no real reason?" Absolutely, Goop23. You can get the other 2/3. Now we don't have to keep carrying around these 2/3 of a point. There you go.
There you go.
In many different layers all over the world. Widespread volcanism was also involved in finishing off the dinosaurs, as many of these massive graves are literally packed with volcanic ash.
Yeah, but Matt, problem is that it's mostly subaerial. So that's kind of a problem, because what he's actually talking about, because I know he focuses on North America because I see his maps and references. What he's talking about is mostly the Jurassic, which in North America was characterized by a rather notable increase in the frequency of ash in sediment. But yeah, it was primarily subaerial. And we know that because the ash comes from mostly the area where the Rockies are now. And it wasn't actually formed by the Rockies, it was formed by older formations, and it mostly wasn't like cinder cone volcanoes. A lot of it was actually what are called dikes, which are just like long horizontal fissures in the ground that can spew up ash and lava, and they don't tend to form classical conical mountains like you're familiar with from the movies. But in order for that to get over to places like, like Wyoming, you can't really do that under the ocean. The water is too viscous for ash from California to reasonably just deposit gently over in Wyoming. But the air, Maddie, I don't know if you know this as a meteorologist, but it's actually way less viscous than water.
Yeah, guys, did you know this? Air moves.
Yeah, and things can move through
really
air
well.
more easily than they can move through water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a good number for the speed of air, right, is like 10 meters per second is a good average at the surface. Aloft it gets way faster. But I was gonna say that. Residence time. That's a really important thing for. So the when we talk about like pollution with the atmosphere, we talk about how long a certain type of molecule can stay in the atmosphere, right? So for example, CO2 stays for a few years before it would be like undergo like uptake. Is everything okay? My computer is panicking. Am I here?
You are here, as far as I can tell. You are also not even cutting out.
Oh, okay, amazing. My computer just.
I think you might be slightly out of sync, but that's about it.
Oh dear. Anyway, so for example, so CO2 lasts like 2 to 5 years, somewhere in there. That's just a number off the top of my head. And so it has that relatively long residence time, as opposed to NOx, so NOx, so any molecule that tacks on in that X, right? Which is largely the classification of pollution you get in like large cities, right? That actually has a much shorter residence time. And so the NOx largely stays in the city or slightly downwind of the city, right? Like a couple towns over, which makes it much more of a hazard, of like an immediate hazard for human health, because all of that pollution, which can be bad to breathe, stays put because it has such a short residence time. Volcano stuff stays in the air for years. It has a longer residence time than CO2. But it's like less than a decade. I kind of get the numbers. They're a little messy. I'm thinking in like orders of magnitude. So volcano stuff, stays in the air. So even if the air moved slow, right, or whatever have you, just the fact that it has this high residence time, this long residence time, makes it more able to have a kind of immediate global effect because it sticks around for a little while.
All right. We got a couple things to read here. The Power of Nuh-Uh member for 43 months is at the amnio level says, if creationists want prehistoric large flying dinosaurs, why not feature Argentavis? Oh, right, they don't know about it. Further, they also don't think that birds are dinosaurs by and large. So even if they did know about it, it wouldn't count. Well, for them. Roshan says, Confederate pterosaurs thing is for a TV show called Freaky Links. All right, sorry, it was not the Tombstone. I think it was Gazette that I was thinking of. So, hey, keep correcting me if I screw that up again, because there's a fair chance. Let's see.
Oh no, that's not a dapper, it's a professional issue. I got excited. My drink's really yummy, and I need to drink more of it.
Send more drink triggers is what Maddie is saying. Let's see. There was also... Oh, right. Yeah, actually, that reminds me. Maddie, what causes the weather phenomenon known as a sharknado?
Yes. So for data sharknado, these are very rare events, unlike what media would tell you is what happens. On record, we actually only have it ever occurring once, and it's thought that this spurred the movie franchise. But what happens is that a tornado goes over an aquarium.
I see. That has a shark in it. For some reason. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying
I think that happened once. I hope that's not just like lore I just spread, but that's the lore, is that this happened like once. So the picture of like the cow being swung around in Twister is ridiculous. That's not what it would look like. But tornadoes picking up and killing and moving livestock is common.
Okay.
So if there, if the tornado went right over the aquarium and ripped the roof off, it could happen.
All right. So
I
if an
think it
aquarium
has.
hit Jackson Wheat's place of work, we could get a Sharknado.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, I fly plane. I am painfully aware that air moves. Also, I would like to register a complaint about the air temperature in Minneapolis this last week. Yeah, that's fair. Maddie, what's the deal with the weather lately?
The deal with the weather of okay, yeah, I need to let me take a look, but I think we're having a particularly wavy jet, and I would love to explain why that's a function of climate change. So continue.
Okay. I think that covers everything that we have for super chats. So I am going to hit play, and here we go.
That in many cases was mixed with water when it encapsulated the dinosaurs in their tombs.
Yeah, sometimes. But what about the other times, Matt? What about the other times?
One section of the Morrison Formation, called the Brushy Basin Member, spreads across 5 states and includes over 4,000 cubic miles of volcanic materials. With
Cubic miles are just such a weird measurement. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like cubic miles.
Without a single volcano in the Morrison Formation.
Yeah, the volcanoes are elsewhere, Matt. We know where they are. It's literally the Independence Dike Swarm that's in southwestern California. Like, we know where they are. You know how we know? It's because each volcanic feature that spews ash or lava or whatever has its own particular chemistry. Because the mantle and the rocks that go up to form lava chambers and whatnot, or magma chambers, I suppose, they're not all the same everywhere. Which means that just like your fingerprint is unique, each volcano has a unique chemical signature, and we can trace where ash is from. So we know where it's from.
Geologists believe this material had to be carried all the way from volcanoes on the west coast.
Hey, he was right about that. All right, fair enough. We'll take a drink. Good job, Matt.
Cheers.
It's a little nitpicky to the degree to which it counts as a volcano, because like it doesn't form like a mountain. But you know what? I'm a volcanism maximalist, so I'll take it. Unlike Kip Davis, who is a volcano denier.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
By the way, remember, if we get that super chat goal, I will wear my suit next time we talk to Kip Davis. Assuming that he's there on Saturday, which he should be. Lieutenant Matt Navigator for $5 says, I don't know if the Morrison was... I didn't know that the Morrison was in Canada, the only place with no pointy fire rocks. It's not, actually. The Morrison is in the United States.
Also, okay, I've got the image pulled up for forecast analysis. So if we get to Maddie Nerds Out, I'll explain how ungodly cold temperatures happening right now are actually a product of climate change.
Well, in that case, 22 more teal super chats like the one Lieutenant Math Navigator just sent, and Maddie will tell you all about the weather.
Yeah.
All right, because Maddie, you have a degree in weatherology. Is that accurate?
I do have a degree in weatherology.
Okay, and it's a doctor's degree in weatherology?
It's a doctor's degree in weatherology, yes.
Okay. Because you're actually Dr. Maddie.
I am Dr. Maddie. That is factual.
I would change the name of the show to Matt with Dr. Maddie, but it doesn't flow as well.
It doesn't flow as well. And I even struggle to require my college students to call me Dr. Maddie. It feels weird. I don't make them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a requirement, but
like
it is
they probably would call you Doctor your last name, which I'm not going to reveal.
Right. Yeah, they probably would. Oh no! There's too much security on here. I'm trying to send a super chat, and it's like, what's that code on the back of your card? And I was like, that card is not on my person.
You don't have it memorized? I have mine memorized.
Well, I have like 3 different cards is the problem.
Oh, yeah, I have the one card that I almost always use. What I use for almost everything.
Yeah, I have, like, yeah, so because I have, like, a credit card, I have my personal card, and then I have a card that goes to our joint account, right, for, like, family stuff.
Yeah.
Right, and so...
$5 says, we can trace where Ash is from. Yeah, he's from Pallet Town. That's a good point. He is from Pallet Town.
Yeah, he is from Pallet Town.
Yep. What was, actually, that reminds me, what was the first, like, mainline Pokemon game that let you choose to, like, let you choose, like, a gender option? I know that did happen relatively early on, but I don't remember when.
I thought Red asks you if you're a boy or a girl, but it doesn't change your avatar.
Look, it's been so long since I played any of the Pokemon games, never mind, like, Red or Blue. So, yeah, look, I enjoyed Pokemon when it came out, like the original, and I have long since realized that the Pokemon games are no longer made for me, and that's fine. And I like a lot of the character designs, but the games have moved away from something that I personally want to spend my time playing. But on the other hand, I get why they're popular. Believe me.
Yeah.
I get it. It was Gen 2, really. Gen 3 has the option. Well, now I'm getting different answers from different people. Zerolon says Gen 2. Aerododger says it's the first one. DMWing says Gen 3 has the option. Rainavast says Crystal version in Gen 2 was the first time it asked gender. They got rid of gender locking in most of... They got rid of gender locking in this most recent game. Well, I know it's been gone for a little while. Ambi is playing Pokemon Black right now. Awesome. Look.
Nice. So I was, like, my first video game ever was Pokemon Red. I got a Game Boy Color for Christmas, and I got Pokemon Red, and I just played, right? So, Pokemon... The original Pokemon games have a very special place in my heart, right?
You're really good.
That's all the nostalgia for me.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, no, look, like I said, there are a lot of games out there that are excellent games that aren't for me, but that I recognize are excellent games. One that Ben plays a lot is FTL, Faster Than Light. It's a roguelite spaceship game. And, like, I've played it, and I get it. It's an excellent game. It's not a game I want to spend my time on. Because I personally get frustrated. But I recognize why it's, like, as close to objectively a good game as anything can be objectively good. Like, I get why everyone likes it. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We have to get a few more super chats for that kind of talk to go on.
Volcanoes that were created by the magma rising from the subducting ocean crust plunging under the land. Today, these subduction zones form the Ring of Fire.
That's right, too. My goodness.
That is true, but he's not showing us an image of the Ring of Fire.
Well, he's showing us an image that includes the Ring of Fire, to be fair.
That's true. That's true. We won't be that picky. I'm also about to have a matcha chocolate Kit Kat. That's really yummy. And trans flags in the chat. I love it. Trans rights.
Absolutely. I don't know exactly why, but I appreciate it. Let's see if I can figure out. Dapper Dinosaur on stream Pokemon Nuzlocke when? It's probably not going to happen.
Dude, I will play that with you so hard.
Well, tell you what, why don't you... Maddie, you know, if you wanted to stream a Nuzlocke run to Top Hats Off, you just have to say the word, and I will set you up to be able to do that.
Okay. Oh, you're so fun.
Yeah, do it. Just do it. Like,
okay.
Look, Top Hats Off, I am allowing people who I trust to do shows that are reasonably related to what's normally on there. Like, there are currently talks that are very far from any kind of actual fruition, but about having Landon Knoll run a 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign on Top Hats Off, because that's the edition that he's most familiar with. It's also the edition I started with.
I would so play that. I would be so lost and so mad, and I would love it.
Maddie, what's your save against wands? It's different from your save against potions, by the way.
Is it not Dex?
No, it's not based on an ability score at all. It's just in a table that you have to look up.
Oh, well, that's fun.
It sure is a thing. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, Raw Matt couldn't figure out how to beat the tutorial even in FTL. He'd be like that one guy who tried to review Cuphead but couldn't get past the tutorial level.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And, I mean, look, a lot has been said about that guy, but to be fair to him, he also did start out, like, his review saying, like, I don't play platformers, I don't get platformers, I suck at platformers. But we didn't have anyone else to do this review, so you're stuck with me. And it's like, okay, I kind of get it. Let's see. The Power of Na'a for 100 Argentinian pesos says, I'd like to make a correction. The Ring of Fire is made by love, which is, I remind you, a fiery thing. You know what? Sure, why not? I'll take it.
Cheers for Johnny Cash.
All right, here we go.
responsible for over 90% of our earthquakes. The
I don't know if that's true, but it does not strike me as obviously wrong. That the Ring of Fire
I
is
believe
responsible?
that 90% of earthquakes happen in the Ring of Fire.
Okay.
I'm gonna Google it.
All right. I mean, like I said, I don't know, but it doesn't strike me as being like obviously dumb or anything. Borgenpori says, "How about a stream where we play Pokemon cards?" I don't even know how that would work, other than just like filming the desk. Like, is there
Roughly
like
90% of all earthquakes occur along the Ring of Fire.
Hey, we'll take a drink.
From
Matt's
the
on a
National
roll.
Geographic Society.
Matt, you're on a roll today.
Hot
This is
damn!
actually-
Good
this is-
job, bud.
Yeah, honestly impressive. I think this is the most right that Matt has been ever. Like ever. Josh B for $5 says, "Towards the weather for Becca Justiniano with a sun, a rain, a stormy emoji, a rain emoji, a tornado emoji, and a lightning emoji." Thank you very much.
Becca Justiniano, I'm assuming that is the Becca for whom Becca Paris is named.
It is.
Okay, so just a quick cheers to Becca, because
Absolutely. Who you're trying to
it is
kill
my
off.
mission in Top Hats Off to get Becca Paris killed.
You do realize it's almost impossible to kill a character unless I decide to allow it to happen by spending some threat to allow an attack to be lethal.
Oh, I try really hard to make her run into danger.
I know.
Front towards enemy.
Yes. In case, by the way, the plan is still that we are planning to play this Friday on Top Hats Off. So if you like our Star Trek Adventures game, or if you haven't seen it and you just want to see a lot of the people that you see on this channel hanging out and being gigantic nerds, head over there.
Yeah.
We got Maddie, we got Chesh, we got Craig from FTFE, we got Jordan from Reason to Doubt, we got Zerlon who's in the chat, we got Tirirana who's sometimes in the chat. We've got, who am I missing? We got Chesh. I don't know if I said Chesh. Yeah. So like, for my community, it is a star-studded cast. For the general public, it's a bunch of nobodies, but that's okay because we have fun.
We have so much fun.
We do. And in fact, I'm also prepping for the next campaign because we are actually about halfway done with the number of total episodes for Star Trek Adventures that I had planned for the entire multi-campaign arc. Which means, yeah, I know. Which means that, yeah, I am getting ready for the next campaign, which is going to be Wrath and Glory, a Warhammer 40,000 campaign. Which means everybody better get really cool about a lot of things really fast.
Bible records that on the 150th day of the flood, God made a wind.
Matt.
Can I just drink for Papyrus font?
Yeah, I was about to say Papyrus.
Yeah.
Let's drink for Papyrus. Jeez.
Mm.
Thanks for the Papyrus, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Papyrus can be used effectively, but it almost never is.
It almost never is.
Here's a good time to use Papyrus. When you're trying to use type over a Papyrus texture, that's a pretty good time to use it. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe don't.
Or if you're, 8 and you're designing your fantasy world.
Yeah, maybe. Also, look, it's not that hard to make a font. Like, it's just vector art, right? Like, you can just do it.
Yeah.
Just make a font. It's possible. There are open source programs that will let you import vector files and then put them into the different spots for different characters on like an ASCII mapping chart. And then you can save it as like a true type font, and you can just install it on your computer. And then you can use it in art programs, word processors, all sorts of cool stuff like that. That's a thing you can do.
To pass over the earth, the water started to recede. The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. Now enters the final mega sequence, the Tejas.
Okay, reminder, everybody, a mega sequence is creationist speak for a cratonic sequence, which is a sequence of deposition that mostly records a sea transgression. And you might say, well, what's the difference between a sea transgression and a flood? A sea transgression is why Doggerland isn't currently above water, and it's a thing that happens over tens to hundreds of thousands of years, and is characterized by low energy deposition. A flood is something that happens in the course of like days or weeks and is characterized by high energy deposition.
High energy deposition.
So these are different. It's kind of like the difference between like a little gust of wind and a hurricane.
Yeah.
Except in this case, the gust of wind is like sustained for years, right? So it's like, I don't know, like lots of places have sustained winds, right? Like on the top of some mountain, right? So there might be some pretty fast winds up there, sustained. But that's very different from a hurricane, which is a single short-term weather event, as opposed to the sustained but moderate winds that you might be experiencing. I'm trying to turn it into Maddie speak.
Yeah, it was good. I was checking my email to see if I can sign up for seminars yet. I cannot.
Oh no. Ooh.
No, I'm so listen, I didn't splurge for the platinum tier. I just got the gold tier.
Oh my goodness, Maddie.
And I know, so I don't get first pick of seminars and stuff. So I just really want it to drop. I really want to sign up.
All right. Well, here's what's going to happen. We are going to read the next couple super chats, and then we're going to go on a quick break so that Maddie can get another beer. If anyone here, you can go get another drink, get a snack, use the bathroom, whatever you need to do. And then we're going to come back, and we're going to finish this up, and we only need 16 more super chats to let Maddie nerd out. But remember, that means that if you want her to actually have time to nerd out, we have to probably get it within like the next half hour to 45 minutes. So keep that in mind. For 200 Argentinian pesos, the power of Nuh-uh, or sorry, there's also another name in here that's now I'm confused. Hold on. The real Sharknado Shark, you've changed your name. There you go.
Amazing.
Says, I used to use papyrus to show Bible verses at my church's screen. The background was a GIF with IPA pronunciation of GIF specifically. Thank you. Of a candle. Might not be a papyrus texture, but it was atmospheric. I could see that kind of working. Maybe. I would have to see it. Hank says, for $668 redos, curious as to who exactly Salmonella Matt's audience is. Who actually watches him on purpose and not just for lols? Even most creationists would cringe. Yeah, I don't know. We've actually had that conversation because his stuff is so boring that like it's hard to imagine adults wanting to watch it. Sorry, kids wanting to watch it. But it's also so dumb and moronic that it's hard to imagine adults sitting through it without wanting to like throttle Matt. So I don't know. It's the same problem I have with a lot of creationists. I'm like, this does not seem like it's for kids or adults or for teens or for like tweens or whatever we're calling them or for anyone. Like there just doesn't seem to be anyone for whom this works. And yet this video has like 11 million views.
Jeez.
Matt went viral on this video. So apparently it's just evangelical Christians, and apparently they have some kind of weird ability to watch stuff that's too boring for children and too dumb for adults and yet think it's great. So like they form their own like viewing demographic, I guess. Which to be fair, they form their own demographic for a lot of things where it's like, why would anyone want this? And it's like, oh, right, because you're a creationist. Got it. All right, so we are going to be back after a quick break. The beginning of the break should be the teaser trailer for what I'm hoping is this Friday's episode. So stand by for the voice talent of Chesh, who is reading the captain's log because she plays Captain Tanelia, the Cation captain of the USS Kong Z. And Maddie, you play the engineer.
Yes, I do. Lieutenant Commander Gloriana Dulas.
Yes, a Betazoid and chief engineer. All right, so we'll be back in just a little bit, everybody.
Captain's Log, Stardate 60606.8. Our research into the plight of Ash Tamalia and her people has led us to a remote sector within the Expanse. We're gathering evidence to support a theory our science team has cooked up revolving around harnessing the energy of powerful bursts of EM radiation to burn a hole through subspace in order to tunnel to the Telecol pocket universe. I have the ship at yellow alert. As the Klingons say, Du Bochur Yipumoch.
The Kongzi is studying a cluster of pulsars, all of which have formed in the last decade, which seems to be an artificial occurrence. Some of the senior staff believe this may be the result of telecall technology. But before they can get much done, a distress call comes in from a previously unknown species. Now the Kongzi is in the middle of a rescue and a first contact scenario all rolled into one. The new species seems open and friendly, but their homeworld may hide secrets connected to the ongoing strange events in the Shackleton Expanse. How will the rescue go? Will first contact be successful? Find out next time on Star Trek Endurance. Well, first of all, Dapper's a professional because I forgot to turn off the opening when we came back.
Ooh,
So take a drink.
cheers.
There you go. We got from Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5. You're wondering how evangelicals can handle very boring and very stupid speeches? They practice it every Sunday. I mean, to some degree that's true, but I've heard some like very compelling sermons / homilies out there. So like, I don't know. But then again, I guess I don't remember too many evangelical like sermons that I heard. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think there is something to that though. Yeah. All right, so
Yeah.
now that we are back, I first want to say thank you so much to everyone who super chats, who's a member, who's a patron, who sends super thanks, who gifts memberships, all that stuff. In case you guys don't know, I do this as a full-time gig, right? This is what I do. When people ask me what I do, I have to have the really weird I'm a YouTuber conversation. And then they almost all say, oh, that's what my kids want to be. And then I have to find a way to respond to that. And I have yet to figure out what a good response is. But also, Science Side Up for $5 says Godzilla Mothra drink. And so we will take a drink for that. Thank you very much, Science Side Up. Hey, wait a minute. That's you.
Listen, I was thirsty.
I get it. And you want to talk about nerd stuff.
I do want to talk about nerd stuff.
Science Side Up for $5 says, it's better to make 2 $5 chats, yes. Right? Yes, for the purposes of getting drinks, as well as for the purposes of getting to talk about nerdy stuff. 2 $5 super chats is twice as good as one $10.
Okay,
So,
perfect. That was my
yes.
goal, because I was going to do $10. And I was like, wait a minute, I can game this system.
You sure can.
I don't even think you mind.
I took a drink for it. I don't even know why. It's fine.
Yeah, I meant to add a emote to drink for it, but oh well. Here we are.
I could sense that spiritually, that you wanted to put a Godzilla in there.
Yeah, that's Exactly.
Yep. All right. So, but one of the things about doing this as a full-time gig with a relatively small channel is that what that means is that I am almost entirely dependent on my viewers opting to support me financially by joining the Patreon, by joining the channel memberships, and doing all those super chat and super thanks and all those things, right? So, if you like this channel, you want to see it keep going, you want me to keep making stuff, you want to make sure that I am financially secure so I don't have to worry about how I'm going to make rent or what I'm going to eat, probably the best way is the Patreon. The Patreon is where I get to keep the most money of what you send me. It's not dependent on the whims of YouTube. Because I remember I think it was about a year ago, YouTube gave me like a community guideline strike for just no reason. In fact, it was so for no reason that they withdrew it after I made a stink on Twitter about it. But in the meantime,
Nice.
guess what platform wasn't giving me any money?
YouTube.
Exactly. So Patreon
Will that
is also
happen? Does YouTube hold your like membership payments too?
I don't know actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that.
But certainly like chats and all of that. Okay.
Yeah, there were no super chats, there were no super thanks, there were no gifted memberships, none of that stuff.
Oof.
Yep. So, that helps me stay independent of YouTube in terms of like my monetary income. That's linked in the description. It starts at $1 a month. It can go all the way up to like 50 or 100 if you really want to. Don't feel like that's something I'm asking you. But yeah, it gives you early access to videos. There should be a new video coming out tomorrow. It's currently rendering right now. As I do this, it is currently 27% done. So I'm probably going to go to sleep with it still going, but that's okay. That should be out tomorrow. I usually have like 4 to 6 months worth of early access for any given video. That's pretty typical for me. And there's so many videos in early access. So it gets you that. It gets you access to my Discord server just for supporters. The next best option is probably joining the channel on YouTube. Not only does that give you the same perks as far as access to the server, as well as early access to videos, there are a handful of membership-only videos only members can see. It gets you access to the channel emojis. You also get a cool little badge next to your name. Your name goes green unless it's you're already a moderator, in which case it stays blue, but you still get the badge, which you can see with like Jillian Wren and Borg Emporia. They're members and also mods, so they have both the badge and the blue name. Also, as Jillian Wren says, Discord server is a lot of fun. Come on, be one of us. And I do think it's a really fun server. Now, granted, I have a monetary interest in saying it's a really fun server, so, take that as you will. But yeah, that's another option. That starts at $1.99. So there's that. If a monthly or annual thing isn't your thing, but you want to help anyway, there's always super chats, super thanks. There is merch. There's link below this video. There should be a merch shelf where you can buy some shirts or mugs or whatever. There's also a wish list that I have linked in the description. Also, I want to remind everyone that there is a pinned link. The pinned chat has a link to Vishanti's wish list. And she has recently had her bills go up significantly, and so if you wanted to get her some like cleaning supplies or some coffee creamer or some stuff to help store food in the refrigerator or something, I can guarantee you that she will be very grateful. Help make a Hanukkah miracle happen, because it's Hanukkah and Vishanti is Jewish. So there you go. Yeah, and if you don't want to help out in a way that is like financially supporting, there are still ways to help out. Liking the video helps. Sharing the video helps. Commenting on the video helps. I also have a how to render for me. As you might know, a lot of my videos include a lot of rendering and rendering of 3D scenes. And the way I do that is I send my projects to a render farm called Sheepit. Also, Vishanti has just said, thank you to everyone who has gifted me things. I have received many items today. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, everybody who sent Vishanti anything. I really, really appreciate it. Vishanti has been a big help to the channel. She's been a big part of the channel. And we have done a lot of good helping people out on the channel. So I'm glad that we can keep doing that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to try not to get too emotional about that fact. So let's keep going. Yeah, if you want to render for me on that render farm, because the way it works is when I render frames for other people, I get points, and when other people render my frames, it costs me points. And how high priority my frames are depends on how many points I have. So yeah, go to the section in the description called How to Render for Me. There is instructions on where to download the client and the login information. The login information is my username for that render farm, as well as a render key. The render key tells the render farm that you count as me for rendering, but it doesn't give you access to my. All right, so Goop3 for $2 says, you're forgetting it's not too dumb for young Earth creationists. Yeah, that's a good point. It is, yeah, that is a good point. All right, let's see. And then for $5, Joshua Geese says, don't let your babies grow up to be YouTubers. Oh,
Nice.
Thank you. It's not an easy thing to succeed at. And by all rights, a channel my size should not be able to support me, and yet it does. So you guys are absurdly generous, and I really appreciate it. But also, we are not very close to getting Bent any pizza, so it looks like he is not going to get fed today yet again. That's okay.
Bless.
Because we only need 12 super chats to get Maddie to just be able to talk about all sorts of nerd stuff. So, you know, Maddie, if you want to send 12 more $5 super chats and then try to explain that to your husband, feel free. Like, well, I was really thirsty.
I was real thirsty, don't worry about it.
Yeah. And then he'll wonder what kind of thirsty you mean to give that much money to YouTube.
Don't worry about it.
Here, after the water peaked over the top of the highest mountains of the pre-flood world, they began to rush off the continents, eroding and reworking some of the deposits laid down in the previous mega sequences.
Yeah, there's a problem with that too, Matt. And it's that we can tell if erosion happened fast or slow, because fast erosion leaves characteristic, like, straight channels. It leaves very, like, U-shaped channels when it happens. It smooths things out. It creates, like, hilly terrains. Whereas slow erosion can create more jagged terrains, V-shaped canyons and channels. It can have more, like, meandering and switchbacks and whatnot. And when we look at Earth, we don't see mostly quick erosion. We do see plenty of it, don't get me wrong, but we see a lot of really slow erosion, and too much for the Earth to only have been flooded 4,000 years ago. Right? Like, that's not an option. So I'm just going to take a drink for you pointing out one of the ways we know that there was no global chat, Matt. That was dumb.
Yeah.
Matt, you did get another drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it looked like you were still finishing your last one.
Oh, yes. No. I'm still finishing this one, but I also got a bearded theologian.
All right, just making sure.
Oh, I need to send some of these to a bunch of my YouTube friends, because, Kip, I think you should have some bearded theologian beer. Just for stream purposes. Yeah.
Good luck with the Canadian Postal Service right now.
Ooh, that's fair.
They've been on strike for years.
Which
is how you know the strike isn't working.
Yeah.
Because apparently the whole country's just like, yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll just do this then. All right, here we go.
Especially carving away at the Zuni deposits.
Oh, wait. Mr. F. Oh, wait, like the song. Oh, with a Dwarf Fortress little profile picture. I like that. Matt, have you ever played Dwarf Fortress?
I've never played Dwarf Fortress.
All right, if we get to 30 super chats, I'll tell you what Dwarf Fortress is.
Okay.
But Mr. F for $5 says, I heard something about Dapper Dino shirts. What's the price? It was shirts, not shirts. I don't have any shirts. Sorry. Shirts. But I actually don't remember what the price is because it's been a very long time. And also because, like, I make so little money when people buy merch. I just like it when people tell me that they bought merch and then send me, like, a picture of, like, a t-shirt or a Dapper Dinosaur blanket or pillow or mug or something. So most of what I get from merch is emotional satisfaction, and I get like so little. I'm pretty sure that merch store has made less than $300 in the entire time it's existed. And a lot of that is because I don't price things high, because I would rather you get the merch than that I make a bunch of money from it. Because the way that it's on Spring, and the way Spring works is they have a set amount that they are going to take for the product that is being sold. And then you can add an amount on top of that. That's what you get when the product is sold. And for most of my items, it's like a couple bucks. In part because their prices are already a little on the high side.
This final sequence appears to be different than the others, because there was a reversal in flow direction.
Okay, that was incredibly stupid. I'm taking a drink.
Yeah. What?
Flow direction varies throughout the entire fossil record. These are called paleo currents. Sorry, where you determine in which direction the water was flowing in water deposited sediment, and it switches back and forth all throughout fossil record, or the sedimentary record of Earth. There is no particular point in the fossil bearing strata where the flow is anomalously unidirectional, which is something that creationists have tried to claim. It's just not true. And the way you can tell it's true is because the very paper that the creationists cite about this, which was written by a creationist, doesn't support that conclusion. Because if you compare it to current directions in rivers and oceans, you get the same level of like uniformity versus random variation today as what is being reported there within like I think it's like less than a standard deviation. So there is literally no reason to think that any of the paleocurrent data from the past leads to some kind of like strongly unidirectional water flow on Earth that would indicate a flood. It's just not a thing. And you can run the math. I've run the math. These are some videos that I made a long time ago on the channel. I don't even remember what they were called, but I did the math on this. I was like, yeah, statistically, this is nothing. There is no signal here. It's all noise. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, we've seen a lot of schist in this stream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Thank you. All right. Oh, only 10 more. 10 more, and not only will Maddie tell us about weather, I will also describe what Dwarf Fortress is. And Maddie, spoiler alert, it is the most complex video game ever made.
What? That sounds fun.
We
should also do a Top Hats Off stream for that.
Actually, I played it once on stream for like one of my like special like event streams where I was trying to play Dwarf Fortress while also debunking, and it was not easy. I think at one point I ran out of chairs and all my dwarves got very angry.
Oh no!
Because they couldn't sit down to eat.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Poor babies.
I know. Or maybe it was cups. Maybe they ran out of cups. I ran out of some kind of food-related item that isn't food, and they were like, I don't like drinking out of my hands or not being able to sit down to eat. And I was like, get over it, babies.
Yeah.
As the waters begin to sheet off of the continents, this flow reversal transported much of the fossils deposited.
That's just where modern drainage basins are, except that you're ignoring like the Endoharic Basin over in Utah. Like that's
I think what he's trying to say, what he's looking at, and what he's like trying to say is that like there was a sea here, which means water going in, and then it drained out, water going out. Flow reversal.
Oh, that's stupider than even what I was thinking. I'll take a drink for that. That's really dumb.
Yeah.
I have noticed that far too often, I assume that whatever a creationist or a flat earther is saying is the thing that kind of makes sense, and I will assume that that is the thing they are saying. And I am very often wrong about that.
Yeah, I spend too much time trying to understand what they're really saying. It's my teacher brain. I can't turn it off. Right?
It happened to me with Mikey Smith. At least a couple times I thought he was trying to say something that kind of made sense. Nope, he was saying the absolutely batshit, not even like a sentence version of what he was saying. I was just like, okay, cool, great.
Oh, no, this is so much worse.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah.
Oof.
Earlier, off the highest uplands, spreading them towards the edges of the continents, and the evidence points to the Tejas draining the flood waters southward, off of the U.S. towards the Gulf of Mexico, with a sheet wash pattern all at once. This is why we...
Just, there was a sea, and now there's not.
And he's also trying to say that all the sediment deposited by the rivers that are flowing into the Gulf all actually just washed in there in one event. But there's literally no reason to think that.
There's no reason to think that. No.
No, there has
No.
never been a study that I am aware of that has even hinted that that's a realistic possibility. Matt, if you know of a study, please email it to me. But also, don't make it a study that you wrote yourself with all-centered text that doesn't follow any formatting guidelines and that you lied about being published in PLOS. Don't do that.
Come on. Like, not to give you a hint, Matt, but most journals provide a LaTeX template that you can just open an overleaf that's free. Just do that.
Do you think that those are words that Matt understands? Because I guarantee you he doesn't know what most of those words mean.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
People who think LaTeX is hard kind of baffle me. Because I get it, like having to look up like the different symbols and stuff. But if you have it, and like making a template would be hard. Absolutely. But just get a template and then type your words in it.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't think that Matt thinks that it's hard. I don't think he knows what it is, because remember, Matt has never done a single bit of academic work in his entire life, past like whatever year he dropped out of high school in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt's
Okay,
never
that's fair.
been to college, near as I can tell. Because if he had, I'm sure he would have listed it alongside his credentials of being certified in every an ordained Racine who's been certified in every system of herbalism in the world, whatever the hell that means.
He just said that. He didn't list his
Didn't list
certifications.
anything. Yeah, I didn't tell you what institutions had given out these certifications. He just put that phrase on a book. A book that purports to tell you how you can use his diet and supplements along with biblical principles to not age. Despite the fact that Matt himself is visibly aging and doing it pretty poorly,
like
in that
real fast.
Yeah, in that he looks like Skeletor's misleading Tinder profile. Let's see. Arrow Doctor for $4.99 says the institution known as Answers in Genesis are a spunk-stained burlap sack of diesel electric prime movers. Jeez, I'll take a drink. That was pretty good. All right. Only 9 more, and Maddie gets to nerd out.
Yeah.
But we're also we're almost 3/4 of the way done, which means we still need like a third of the super chats. And by the way, remember, a third is bigger than a quarter. Americans who thought that a third pounder was smaller than a quarter pounder, because that's a thing that happened.
They find massive sand deposits in the deep water off the Gulf of Mexico. Billions of barrels of oil have been discovered there, with much of it found within a massive 1,100-foot thick bed of pure sand.
Okay, but Matt, oil doesn't come from flood deposits. It usually comes from in situ plant growth. And what that indicates is that the Gulf of Mexico wasn't always low-lying like it is now. That's the most likely indication. That's probably what's going on. Honestly, this is physically painful. I can feel the headache coming.
Yeah.
Like my soul or my heart or whatever thing it is that makes me feel like the world is hopeless. That thing is active right now. The real Sharknado points out, sorry, Dapper, but 4 is bigger than 3, so 1/4 has to be bigger than 1/3. It's called the transitive property. Well, you know what? We should give rights to the transitive property. Transitive property rights. Get some flags in there. MBZ for $5 says, you just upload the file to Poingus, turn Schmoingus on. Everything you need is on Boink file. What Maddie sounds like to a non-academic me. See, I was trying not to quite go that far, but yeah. Yeah, I recognize what was happening.
Okay, so LaTeX is a text editor that is, it's not like Word where what you type is exactly what it's going to look like, right? There's some programming-ish to it where you like set what things are going to be like. But what's nice about it is that you can write math incredibly easily. And there's parts of formatting that are really great, right? So you can put a footnote and then you can move your footnotes around, right? And it updates all the numbers for you. You can update all your citations, and it will like know what the new number is now. And so it's used in academic writing and specifically science writing. And Overleaf is a free website that has where you can do LaTeX online and auto share it with collaborators, and they also have a lot of templates. So you don't have to like program what your document's going to look like. Anyway, it's nice.
Thank you, Jace, who has a bit of a tack onto the name that I'm not sure what it is because it's cut off on all my screens. Says, joining the nerd war on the side of nerds. Well, thank you very much. The nerds are happy to have you. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, begun the nerd wars. Thanks, Yoda. I remember someone asked me, hey, now that the sequel trilogy has come out, does that make you appreciate the prequels more? And I'm like, no, they're just not as bad. They're still really bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like saying, hey, now that you've had someone rip out your fingernails, does that make you appreciate paper cuts with lemon juice more? No!
No!
I still don't want either of those things. I just don't want one of them more. And then people are like, Dapper, you used to be such a big Star Wars fan. What happened? Actually, no one who calls me Dapper says that, because no one who calls me Dapper remembers a time when I was such a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I was a really big Star Wars fan as a kid, and then I liked Star Wars a lot as a child. But Phantom Menace came out when did that come out in 2001?
I would have to look it up.
But around then, so I was 10 or 11 when it came out, right? And so, like, I liked it because it was a kid's movie, you know? And I wanted to build a droid and race pods and whatever have you. But then I kind of then I got into Star Trek and I sort of didn't super go back.
Yeah.
But I also, it came out in 99. Okay. So I was 9 when that came out. But Star Wars, the other problem with Star Wars is that I got really, really into the books, right?
And then they were just like, don't count anymore.
And they just like threw that whole canon out, and that made me upset. Yeah. For Mara Jade, man. Like,
seriously. I played a lot of Star Wars TTRPGs and a lot of Star Wars video games, even into the early 2000s. Like, a lot.
Okay.
There was one point where LucasArts video games were the majority of my Xbox game collection.
Okay.
Now,
I
think
never really played
2 Star Wars games.
Gotcha. So the only gaming console I ever really owned was a Game Boy Color, right?
There you go. They didn't have a lot of Star Wars.
And I did end up with an original PlayStation when PS2 came out because my cousin got a PS2 for Christmas and he gave me his PS1 so I could keep playing Crash Bandicoot to my heart's desire.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. The weirdo CKA. Why are you doing this to me, YouTube? Why are you cutting off all the names and then not loading my viewer activity so I can see the full name? Anyway, I'm sorry.
The weirdo CKA Evan says, AIG is a bag of tariff farts, however that works. Cheers!
Yeah, I'll take a drink for it. I don't know what that means, really, but sure. No, It's not tariff, it's trafe.
Oh, trafe.
That's food that's not kosher.
Ah! I see. Sorry. I had things on my mind. All right, I've got my bearded theologian open. Cheers.
To be fair, I also didn't catch it when you misread it, and I was just like, yeah, tariff. And I was like, look, wait a minute.
Wait, just one gosh darn minute.
It's a different word. Yeah, and then the weirdo CK Evan says, trafe as in not kosher. Yeah, I gotcha. I got you, Evan.
Sorry, dude. Listen, I had a mental image of a certain tangerine dictator farting, and it kind of made me laugh.
Vishanti chimes in to transliterate it with a Y instead of an I.
Okay. Speaking of farts, I'm really excited because I got my 6-year-old niece. I tried to get my niece and nephew some science toys as some of this. And so one of the things I got her was a a human anatomy toy. So it's a little plastic human, and it has like the arm has like a rubber band so you can see how muscles work, right? And the heart will pump and the lungs will expand, right? And do stuff like that. But then smack dab on the front of this otherwise very educational toy is just bonus fart whistle included.
Hey man, that'll get kids to want to play with it more.
Yeah.
I approve.
The other thing I got her is a KiwiCo is my new obsession for getting STEM toys for my niece and nephew and daughter. I got her a plushy frog that is dissectable. It has plushy organs that you can take out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? In my schooling, I dissected an oddly large number of animals. I dissected a crayfish, a frog, a fetal pig, and a worm in high school.
Ooh. Let's see. Between middle school and high school, I dissected a frog, a sheep's eye, and a shark.
I did not get a shark or a sheep's eye. I'm a little jealous.
The sheep's eye was cool. That was really cool. What was I gonna say? Oh, my niece, she seems to lean a little more towards like biological sciences, right? Like she's not grossed out by things, right? Like that's kind of seems to be her jam. But my nephew is very into like engineering toys and space and more like hard sciences kind of thing. So I try to get them fun stuff. Last time I saw them, he had questions about space and specifically Titan for me. For
one of the coolest moons, in my opinion.
One of the coolest moons. He had questions about that for like a full day. It was a full day. And I loved it. I think that's so great. I love that curiosity. So I love getting to get them presents. Do we have a full suitcase full of presents that we have to take to go see them for Christmas? Yes, we do. I have a full suitcase of toys for my niece and nephew. But I'm very excited. It's a lot of stuff we get to build together.
All right, well, I'm going to hit play, and we're going to see we need 6 more super chats.
In over 7,000 feet of water, over 200 miles offshore. In addition, plants swept off the pre-flood land formed massive coal beds, such as in the Powder River Basin of...
Wait, hold on. If they were swept off the ancient flood bed, then why are they in the middle of the continent?
Why are they in Montana?
Oh, what? That's the middle of what you think is the flood. I'm just taking a drink. I don't understand.
That's not so consistent, my guy.
Why does Matt do these things? My goodness. I love how magical the flood is, because the flood apparently can account for literally any data you'll ever find. It's a magical, violent, calm, fast, slow, dry, wet flood. It's like, okay, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but sure.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Wyoming and Montana. These Tejas layers contain the largest coal deposits in North America that currently supply over 40% of the coal in the United States. Some of these stacked coal
thanks for the coal train.
beds are up to 200 feet thick.
Yeah.
And areas that are over 60 miles long by 60 miles wide. The sheer volume of plant material required to form such a massive layer of coal.
As Lieutenant Matt the Navigator points out, because he is very stupid, and that was for $5, so thank you very much. Yeah, that is, it is. And so here's the other thing. You know how he's talking about like how many plants there were in the sheer volume? Maddie, do you know that the volume of fossil fuels currently known to exist in reserves is too high to have existed on Earth over the course of a year? Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
It's like you're shooting yourself in the foot, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this has to be at least on the same level as when Ben Carson said the pyramids were granaries, even though the interior spaces are almost completely inaccessible and are tiny compared to the size of the buildings. And it's like, well, this is the least effective granary that could ever be conceived, but okay. Joshua Geese for $5 says, thanks for the coal train. I'll see myself out. And he says COLTRANE. Yes. I mean, honestly, I was
Amazing.
kind of hoping someone would make that connection, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it.
Testifies to catastrophic circumstances.
It doesn't though. It doesn't though, Matt. And the reason that we know it doesn't is because there are different like grades of coal depending on how much like compaction and change has happened. And in some of the less compacted, less coalified, if you will, coal, we can tell that these are actually the results of like swampy environments that grew in situ. Because we can actually find things like paleosols and things like that. And paleosol might be a term you're not familiar with. Like, Maddie, I don't know if you know that word.
I do not know that word.
Paleosol is basically fossilized soil. And so, like,
Okay.
you get preserved
Cool.
plant roots, you get preserved, like, bioturbation from things like worms and things like that, right? And so we can tell where the soil is. We can also tell where the soil horizon is, where there was a surface for a while. And the cool thing about soil is soil isn't the same thing as just any old sediment. Soil requires the action of animals, plants, fungi, and bacteria over the course of years to decades, and in some cases centuries, to form. Which means, if you have more than one paleosol preserved in a formation, it couldn't have happened during a single year flood. Because not only do paleosols not form underwater, but each one requires multiple years and usually multiple decades to form in the first place. So no, Matt, these coal beds do not indicate catastrophic deposition. In fact, they largely preclude catastrophic deposition. So I'm taking a drink for how incredibly dumb that
I
is.
say nuh-uh.
I forgot about nuh-uh.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where's the power of nuh-uh when you need him? Oh, right. Change his name.
Nuh-uh.
Now it's about Sharknadoes. All right, here we go.
Massive runoff that began with the Tejas may also explain the lack of human fossils in the rock record.
How? How? Humans are supposed to have been alive at the same time as all the other animals in the lower strata. The ones that you say were inundated first because they were closest to the coast. Which, Maddie, did you know that the vast majority of the human population lives within like 20 kilometers of a coastline?
I did know that.
Yeah. So if anything, humans, unless they had like weirdly opposite preferences for habitat before the flood, which I don't know why they would, they should be buried with some of the earliest terrestrial organisms if the flood model that Matt here is purporting to advocate for is at all true. Humans should be down with like Dimetrodon or even earlier, right? Like that's what should happen. Humans are a low elevation and primarily tropical species by preference. The farther you get away from the coast and the farther you get away from the tropics, the fewer humans you end up with. That's just a fact of where humans live, and humans primarily live where humans like to settle. Because otherwise, how did humans get there? So, like, while yes, you can find humans just about anywhere, where do you find the most humans? Low elevation, near the coast, in warm climates. That's why I think everyone who lives any place where it snows is out of their minds. And that includes Maddie.
It does. I'm looking for a clip of a real shark getting picked up by a tornado, because I swear this existed.
All right. Well, hey, maybe if we get 4 more super chats and we get that clip, then we can talk about Sharknadoes.
Yeah!
Any residual human remains left buried and earlier deposits were totally destroyed by the erosive retreating floodwaters, in line with God's promise to...
We're drinking for papyrus again. I'm not making drink for papyrus a permanent thing, but we're doing it today.
That's a rule today.
Yeah. Is that superscript? Oh, no, those are just quotation marks from earlier. Okay. Yep.
White man from the face of the earth. Any residual remains were ground up and spread in all directions over great distances by the Tejas.
Matt, why is the rest of the Tejas not like this? Why are there so many animals in this mega sequence, as you call it? What was special about humans that they got ground up into sand, apparently, but no one else did? What? The problem is that if you want to use this to explain the lack of human fossils, it also would require there to be just a general lack of, like, medium to large sized animals in these layers. But that's not what happens. I just don't get why it is that Matt cannot figure out that if it's good for humans, then it should be the same for any similarly sized animals. And yet, it's not. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, only crazy humans live in deserts. That might be true. Look, there's a lot of warm climates that are not deserts, that are also near the coast. But the thing that you're forgetting, if you're trying to accuse me of being crazy, is that I'm a dinosaur. A dinosaur that evolved... A dinosaur that evolved in the semi-arid to arid locations of North America in the Jurassic period. So, where I live now, in Arizona, is possibly the closest to my native habitat that I could possibly get to. So, Bent might be crazy, but I'm not. At least not for that reason. Olivia William...
I was able to find a time when an alligator was picked up by a tornado.
So like alligator, that doesn't work as well.
Alligator.
Okay. Olivia Williams, Purple Fairy, who's been a member for 43 months and is at the tetrapod level, says, hey, I didn't choose to be born in the freezing land. All right, look, yeah, if you were born in a freezing place and you don't have an easy option to move, I get that. I guess what I should say is people who want to live in places where it snows are crazy, and that includes Maddie. Maddie had many other options.
I did have other options than where I'm currently living.
Joshua Geese for $5 says, just glancing at the last slide, I thought it said WTF Earth instead of with Earth. That would have been funny.
Nice.
Although my favorite creationist slide, spelling mistake or oddity, was when Kent Hovind wrote the word thoughts, like THOUGHTS, but he spelled it THOTS, and it was just chef's kiss perfect.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
I was like, oh, thoughts, like that thought. Okay, cool. Cool, Kent. Didn't know you knew that word. I still don't think he knows that word, but it was fun nonetheless.
Lessening the likelihood of finding any human fossil remains, because humans were impacted earlier on by the flood's violence.
Right, which should mean that they're buried with those other organisms impacted earlier on, Matt. You just said it yourself. Matt, what is wrong with you? What is special that you think is like the case for human bones that they don't survive, but like Dimetrodon bones do? Why? Why, Matt? Do 3 for $2 says, guys, Gatornado! Maybe it works better than I thought it did. I thought that name was a little bit clunky, but hey, I don't know. I'm getting some enthusiasm.
I do like Gatornado. That's good.
All right. Well, maybe we can pitch it to the Sci-Fi Channel. Get some Gatornado spin-offs.
Okay, so there has been an instance of a hurricane that moved a shark ashore.
But so there's a sharkicane.
Well, but a hurricane isn't going to be strong enough to pick up, like its updraft isn't strong enough to do that, but you can get tornadoes along the edges, right, of hurricanes.
Oh.
Right, so if what happened was that the shark was picked up and dumped in the yard, then it was probably like a tornado that did it, or a water spout, right? Kind of just depending on where you are at the time.
Right.
But the other thing that could have happened was that the shark got caught in the like big waves, right? Or in the push from the low pressure system. But like the aftermath of that was recorded, not the
We're only 2 super chats away, and we're close to the time when we could still have time for Maddie to be a nerd, but we're not. Like, it's iffy. We're pushing it. We're pushing it.
Oh,
Erosion
I'm going
in
to check
the
and see if I can sign up for seminars.
Okay.
The sequence would have affected the strata beneath, wiping away even traces of human remains buried in earlier layers.
Okay, but why not the
Hey,
other
why?
animals, Matt?
Yeah.
Why differential for humans? You have to explain this.
Mm-hmm.
This is also
Okay.
why we hardly find any primate fossils.
What? We find
No.
lots of primate. What are you
What?
talking about, Matt? I'm taking a drink. We find what? The primate fossil record is like surprisingly complete. It's honestly baffling. And we just got 2 $5 super chats. So first, Joshua Geese for $5 says, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Well, hey, that's congratulations. It must be a delicious milkshake. Then Landon Knoll comes in and says, it rarely snows in the Antarctic desert. Dapper, even though it is colder than an AIG bag of eggplants at the South Pole. Hi, Maddie. And thank you very
Hi,
much,
Landon.
Landon. All right, so...
We did it! Hey, can I talk about the weather?
yeah, but really quick, I'm just going to describe Dwarf Fortress and then go. All right, so Dwarf
Wait,
Fortress...
can I share my screen?
Not easily.
Okay, I'm going to drop you some pictures.
Okay. So Dwarf Fortress is a colony sim where you are a band of dwarves who are settling a new dwarven hold, right? But the thing is that it is by far one of the most complex video games ever made. Every single like the body parts of your dwarves are separated, are simulated separately. Your dwarves each have their own personality and memories, which affects their behavior. You have to manage things like, not only do you have enough chairs, tables, cups, silverware, forks, knives, and everything, but you also have to manage what they're made of, and the material that they're made of determines how high quality they are and how happy that makes your dwarves. And there's things like, you can have llamas and elephants and cows and pigs and different kinds of crops, and orcs and goblins and elves and humans and things can come and trade with you, and you have to manage your relationship with them. Like, if you cut down trees too fast, the elves get angry, but if you don't cut down trees fast enough, then you won't have enough furniture and the dwarves will get angry. And there was a time when they had a kitty epidemic because the cats were all dying because there was a glitch in the game where cats could lick themselves to clean liquids off of their body. And so they would walk in beer that was spilled in the bars, and they would lick that, and then they would get a dose of beer into themselves. But them stepping in the beer didn't clean up the beer. So they would step back in the beer, and then they would lick their paws again, and they would get drunk again, and then they would get alcohol poisoning, and they would all die.
Oh, kitties.
All right. Weather. Go. Wait,
Weather.
I misread something. What did I misread?
What?
I don't know, I misread something. Maybe it was Landon. Oh, no, I misread Josh McGee, who said, my milk shark brings all the boys to the yard. Okay, thank you.
Shark bring all the boys to the yard. Does your milk shark bring all the gators to the yard?
That would be interesting.
Okay, Dapper, I figured out. So I dropped you a picture, but I'm going to explain it with this paper and this Sharpie.
Okay.
Okay. Or I might drop a link.
You've got
to the website
5 minutes. Quick.
in chat. Why don't I just do that?
Okay.
Okay. Hello. Friends, okay. I'm dropping you a link to my PhD advisor's website where he has a live map of the potential. Is this the 2 PVU surface, or is this a constant potential temperature surface? This is the 2 PVU surface. So this is what we call the dynamic tropopause. So it's the top of the tropopause, which is the lowest level of the atmosphere where we live. Okay, I need to have this up so I can see myself on camera. There we go. Okay, so, okay. The jet stream. This is important. It's often around the top of North America, right? But, so the jet stream is a thing that exists. And imagine that this piece of paper is a map of the Earth, right? Or at least if this is the equator, and then this is the pole. So the jet stream goes, you know, here, right? And its winds go this direction. Okay. And it separates Arctic air. Arctic. I hope that's flat flipped for you.
I can read it. It says Arctic, although you might want to move it a little bit towards your face. There you go.
Okay. Okay, Arctic, and then mid-latitudes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where we live, right? Mm-hmm. And this is where polar bears live, where it's very cold. So, in a low energy state, the jet stream is pretty like this. But it gets wavy, okay? So instead of being like a straight line going around the globe, in actuality, it looks more like this.
Sinusoidal.
Right? You get it's sinusoidal. It's a wave, right? And one of the things we're seeing as a consequence of climate change, more energy in the system, is this wave gets wavier. The waviness of the jet is a real term that shows up in scientific literature, and everyone's mad about it because we don't have a specific definition for it, but also we all kind of know what it means, and we don't have a better way to explain what's happening.
It's like the amplitude of the wave.
It's the amplitude of the wave, but it's also the number of waves.
So it's the amplifrequency.
Amplifrequency, yeah. So what's going on right now is that this doesn't look like this. This looks like... Boom. Oh, that's very blue. I thought I got like a third color. Okay. So imagine this is just this signal right over North America, right? So what this picture does is, look, all of this red air going up here. It goes up. So there's parts that are being unseasonably warm, but it also pulls cold Arctic air further and further south, right? So you get you get winter weather events and cold temperatures that are more extreme than in the past, right? So there's certain places, especially in like North America, where what we're expecting, like where the pattern of what global warming means is that your mean temperature of your location has increased, even as your high value has increased, but the low value has decreased. It's wild.
Yeah.
So you get, yes, this is waviness of the jet. And if you're looking at that image that I dropped the website in chat, you can see where a signal that looks like this, and we call this like blocking pattern. So like this would be associated with a high pressure system, and this is associated with a low pressure system. But I think it makes more sense to think about this in terms of like pulling air up from the warm south and down from the cold north. Okay. Right? I think it's a little more intuitive way of thinking about it. Yeah.
All right.
That's what's happening. And that's how, by the way, that's one of the ways that you would expect to see extreme cold events as part of global warming, because it turns out the atmosphere is really complicated and big.
That does seem accurate. But we do have to start wrapping up here because we are coming up against the time. So, Maddie, can you tell us what you have coming up?
Coming up is Dungeon Master University.
That's fair, yeah.
I'm so excited for it.
All right.
No, this Friday, I'm going to be playing Lieutenant Commander Gloriana Dulas. Her arms go like this on camera. I'm not super sure why, but they belong up here, right? She like a ballroom dancer's arms. They need to be up here. Yeah. And man, I'm still working on some I'm developing some new labs for the class that I teach, where I make like performing arts majors do science. And so I'm planning on like filming some of those and putting them up on Science Side Up. And I'm fiddling with one that is Reynold.
The labs and not the arts majors.
Really scattering, which is why the sky is blue. Awesome. I think you can demonstrate it like in your kitchen. So anyway, so that'll be fun. Yeah, so maybe there'll be new videos on my YouTube channel eventually. Sometime.
All right, well, here on Dapper Dinosaur, let's see. Today's Tuesday. So on Thursday, we've got a new video coming. Well, new to the people who don't have early access. If you have early access, you've probably already seen it. But what we have coming up next is Geologist Lies About Grand Canyon, which is, we're going to be looking at Ron Neller, who is a creationist I don't think I've ever responded to. So that'll be on Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Then on Friday, as Maddie said, over on Top Hats Off, we should be doing Star Trek Adventures. Then on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, I've got Dapper Reacts, which apparently I'm going to have to put my suit back on for, because we hit the 30 Super Chats. And then next Tuesday should be Jackson with Jackson. I do believe he is actually already confirmed, but I'm going to double check and make sure all of that's on the up and up. And I do want to let you know that I plan to take the week of Christmas primarily off. But that does not mean that there won't be live streams or the premiere. Basically, my plan is to do nothing besides those things. So I'm not going to do anything other than for the channel, other than the things that would otherwise disrupt the channel normal schedule. So there will still be a Tuesday stream, there will still be a Thursday premiere, and there will still be a Saturday show. But if you were hoping to get new videos out of me that week for early access, it's not going to happen. Taken that week. No scripting, no editing, no animating for the channel, none of that. So I'm going to relax. I'll play some video games. I'll do some cooking. I might do some art just for me. I don't know. Maybe I'll go for a walk depending on the weather.
Nice.
So there you go. All right. If you are interested and you have access to the Discord server, we are going to be watching Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, which is by far the longest title in the Godzilla franchise. It's usually called GMK, and it is also one of my favorite Millennium-era Godzilla movies. That does not mean it is the best of the Millennium-era Godzilla movies, but it's one of my favorites. So, I hope you'll see me over there for that. Otherwise, I hope you all stay safe out there. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Remember to show up on Thursday, and furthermore, ICE must be abolished.
Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Ben Tovand, Tapioca Weasel, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon Knoll, Ian Chen, Eleron Teller, Phil Rivera, Kelvin Brostick Van Manen, David Hercules, Joshua Geese, Volas, Dan Sheedy, Pega Jace, The Plastic Mouse, Arrow Dodger, Gordon Love Science, Amber Athelian, Prixie Purple, Agricola Siqua, and John Ackerman. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.